Hello, everyone. This is Adam Meister, the Bitcoin Meister, the Disrupt Meister. Welcome to the One Bitcoin Show. Today is January the 8th, 2019. Strong hand, value your wealth in Bitcoin. Offended by selling. Long-term thinking. Be a unique beast. Unconfiscatable. Holder of last resort. All right, check out the links below. DisruptMeister.com. All my old shows. TechBalt. Follow me on Twitter. TECHBALT. This Friday, 1 p.m. London time. This week in Bitcoin. And on Thursday, I'm on location at a special location in Israel. I'm in Tel Aviv right now. Let's start this baby off. There's a lot of stuff to talk about. It's going to be a little bit different today because yesterday's show, I said, hey, French people, contact me. And 3 French guys contacted me right away. So I'm going to tell their story or what they told me about what's really going on in France. So before we say go on to that, though, I want to say that Dave Rubin, he listed a new Bitcoin address of his. It looks like it's a SegWit address. I linked to it below. It's only 2 days old. It's got like 100 people are already sending him stuff. So that is great. Maybe he's getting he tweeted that Bitcoin address out for some unknown reason 2 days ago now or yesterday. I don't know. And I guess he's still thinking Bitcoin for his Patreon solution. So keep on encouraging him. You don't have to give him any Bitcoin. You can just retweet that, anything, or just tell him under his videos, hey, dude, you and Jordan Peterson go full Bitcoin, and pound that like button when you're watching Adam Meister's One Bitcoin Show. I don't even know the name of it. The Bitcoin Meister, I'm called, apparently, or the Disrupt Meister, something like that. Who comes up with those names anyway? All right, so Ethereum Classic was in the news yesterday, and I understand there's some big Ethereum Classic fans out there. It's basically a top tier altcoin, and well, there were some people that were unhappy when I mentioned the Ethereum Classic issue yesterday, and they said it was fake news. It's not fake news. There was an attack. It is real. I linked to the information below. Here is this was tweeted out. This link was tweeted out by the official Ethereum Classic Twitter account. And here it is. In my opinion, I believe what happened is a significant setback, but I think Ethereum Classic still has a unique positioning as a proof of work, Turing complete network with an active community with sound principles. Why I am still, and the title of the article was why I am still optimistic about Ethereum Classic. All right. So, hey, that's one guy's opinion. There's obviously a lot of negativity around it right now when you have an issue like this. Apparently at gate.io, that's a exchange of some sort, lost 40,000 Ethereum Classic with the 51% attack. They will be covering the user's losses. Okay, not good. Not good. But again, this is what happens in the land of altcoins. So you can explore it yourself. The links are below. So let's talk about what's going on in France with these, because you see on Twitter, at least on Bitcoin Twitter, people keep on saying, oh, look at these yellow vesters. There was a guy with a Bitcoin sign. Maybe they'll all buy Bitcoin. Yay, yellow vest people, Bitcoin. And I'm like, I was like, wonder. And someone told me, a guy on Twitter reached out to me. He said, Adam, you got to get a good guy on Twitter reached out to me. He says, you got to get a French person on your show to talk about what's going on in France with this yellow vest thing and with Bitcoin. Okay, so I started looking into it, and I haven't found a person to get on the show yet. Those 3 guys who contacted me, you guys are welcome to be on the show if you want to be on the show. If you feel you could talk about the issues of This Week in Bitcoin, it would be on the This Week in Bitcoin show. But so during my research, there is a Paris it's called the Paris Blockchain Summit. That's coming up at the end of this month. I linked to it below just because we're talking about the French and Bitcoin right now. So here are some quotes. So 3 guys, they sent me information. I combined it all into one big blurb here. Now I'm going to read it off. Be patient. If you don't like my reading, you can just play it at 2x. You can move on. There are other subject matters after this if you are watching this taped. If you're watching this live, you gotta listen to all this. But this is you're gonna learn, guys. You're gonna see a different perspective. What's going on with Bitcoin in France? What is this yellow vest? What does it have to do with Bitcoin? Bitcoin is not. This is a quote from 3 guys on the ground. Bitcoin is not very popular in France. The yellow vests don't care much about Bitcoin, even though there was the yellow vest with "Buy Bitcoin" on it guy. The yellow vest is a mix of people who both don't want to pay taxes, but want help from the state. That sounds lovely. I wish there was some good YouTube channel like yours, but in French, to educate people over here. Very strange that France is so far behind in Bitcoin, considering that Ledger is based in France. I think it is due to the lack of quality material, e.g. on YouTube, in French. There is a lot of quality material in Spanish, in Portuguese, and even in Dutch. And yeah, I have noticed, now I'm talking, that a lot of people, there seems to be more people from the Netherlands and Belgium than I encounter from France out there in Bitcoin land. But he says it's a language barrier. Okay. And again, English is the language of Bitcoin at this time. So if you're a French person, go make a French podcast. I met an Austrian who's making a German podcast. It can be done. Pound that like button. All right. So more quotes here. There recently was someone with a "Buy Bitcoin" yellow vest. This seems to be an outlier. Indeed, Bitcoin being in the early adopter phase, the number of people having Bitcoin is not massive. Bitcoin has been portrayed by the media as a highly speculative asset during the 2017 bull run, and it's not a point of focus of the yellow vest. If you want, I can ask some of them about Bitcoin next time I see one. Yeah, you can do that for me, dude. Thank you very much. But let's continue. Finally, the French government is currently working on new laws around Bitcoin. They want to make a friendlier crypto environment. If you go to Paris, make sure you stop by a place called La Maison du Bitcoin, coin house store, where some conference around Bitcoin and other cryptos are regularly hosted, and where you can buy hardware wallets, solely Ledger, unfortunately. That is unfortunately. I like the Trezor, but hey, I got a Ledger also. Hey, they got to be fans of the home team over there. Get information on how to use crypto or buy Bitcoins. And that's coinhouse.com. If you're in France, if you're going to be in France, go to coinhouse.com. That's what he was talking about. Okay, so there is some crypto, there is some Bitcoin activity there. That's good to know. But again, it doesn't seem to be as big as, England or something. I'd say still too much faith in the core of our political institutions, though it's eroding. Too much socialism, poor historical and economic education. I believe it's a fact that we are one of the most uneducated countries on economic matters. So those are reasons why no people in France don't seem to be in Bitcoin. Again, the official narrative is that we used to be effed by the monarchy 200 years until we did the revolution. I guess the background feeling is that somehow we, quote unquote, we already got rid of the political corruption, did what was necessary to put in place institutions that couldn't and wouldn't F the people over. Okay, so he's talking about the yellow vest now. This trust shows through gun laws as well. I'd say 95% fully accept the fact that they cannot have a weapon, even for protection, not even an afterthought. Bitcoin touches on so many aspects. To explain it, you'd have to explain way more than just Bitcoin. All right. The Yellow Vest movement is an unofficial coalition of people that are left behind by how the world is evolving. the poor political management of, cashiers, truck drivers, low IQ, low skills, low wages, people who are made more and more obsolete by technology with no solution possible, I guess, or no job attainment possible. I don't understand. The bottom of the barrel is becoming 100% replaceable by machines. It is what it is, and I don't know how Bitcoin could help them. Bitcoin might actually be perceived as part of this huge technological shift that probably most of them couldn't possibly grasp if their life depended on it. Now, I will say this. So he's saying the yellow vest people are, like the common man, the ones, and so many of them might not be technologically savvy, and they might feel Bitcoin is part of their problem. Now, it could help them if they actually bought it, but you've just brought up many reasons why they're probably not anywhere close to buying it, because it would preserve their wealth and they would become savers. But you just said they're not long-term thinkers. They seem to be impulsive and they don't defer gratification. As you know, Bitcoin is really tricky because there's a period of time during which you realize you know nothing about distributed ledgers, decentralization, hash rate, etc. Unintelligent people don't like that. It's easier to say Bitcoin schmidcoin and kick the ball down the curb. The historical, cultural, socioeconomical background of most of these yellow vests isn't pretty, I bet. These poor saps have actually bought into the legend sold to them that the people, just like them, did uprise during the revolution, took responsibility, and ended a so-called evil monarchy through the French Revolution. So there is this stupid idea that the people could do it once again. False assumption from the get-go. Not good. I might be wrong, but I would not expect much from the yellow vest to pump up Bitcoin for the next bull market. I wouldn't say that Bitcoin is not popular in France, but there were some Bitcoin bashing campaigns in the media during 2017 and 2018, especially in a newspaper called Les Echos. Usually, when you talk about Bitcoin to a no-coiner, you get the usual Bitcoin is imaginary money. There are way more English spoken written crypto material, and those who take the time to overcome the language barrier can embrace Bitcoin. Now, again, you keep on. I've combined all three of these guys' comments, and you're seeing reoccurring themes here. That the yellow vesters aren't going to get into Bitcoin. That Bitcoin isn't popular in French because there's not a lot of French language Bitcoin stuff. There seems to be some interest in Bitcoin. It's not like it's nothing. There's a place where they hang out apparently. Okay. And here's some pure yellow vest stuff just for you people to understand that these might not be the type of people that are going to get into Bitcoin. 3 weeks in, and the marked price of oil decreased, hence the price of gas. But the yellow vests continued demonstrating. This time, they asked for more welfare and the comeback of the tax for the wealthy people. The wealthiest people. The yellow vest claims list started to become longer and longer. A few examples: no homeless people, minimum wage, a 13. I don't know what that is. For tax big companies, same welfare for everyone. No more tax on gas. A tax rebate on thermal isolation work for housing. Favor the local industry and ban delocalization. Wage indexed on the inflation. Maximum monthly wage at 15,000 euro. Have a maximum wage. Okay. People who want a maximum wage, I don't know if they're going to be too much into Bitcoin. And those are, they want the government to solve their problems. Obviously, the government, there's a lot of rules in France. The government has a lot of laws already, so they want more laws to get rid of the old laws, and it never ends. With such a long list of claims, the Yellow Vest movement started to lose credibility. That is why more recently, the Yellow Vest have been manipulated into asking for the RIC, the Referendum Initiative something. With this measure, a law can be directly approved by the people. The people can as well reject the law or remove the government. Okay, so they want to overthrow the government. Up to now, the Yellow Vest movement has been 8 to 9 weeks long. The Yellow Vest people were mostly working class. Among the Yellow Vest people, those who are demonstrating, this is very important, represent between 0.4% and 4% of the population. So apparently there was between 0.4% and 4% of the population are Yellow Vesters. They actually put on the Yellow Vest and got out there at some point. That's a big, there's a big difference between 0.4% and 4%. But anyway, remember that number. The Yellow Vest people are not unanimously supported by the people. A large part of the population is fed up by their action. Yeah, I can see why. All right. So there's a tweet out there. Thank you guys for that information. Now, taking all that into consideration, there's a tweet out there that I linked to below by Suprabo. And he says, reports are saying that Yellow Vest protesters in France, which is 70% of the population, 70. So already this person says that the Yellow Vests make up 70% of the population, is planning to withdraw all their money from the banks to destabilize the government. It will be nearly 46 million people directly revolting against the banking system. All right, dude. If that actually happened, that would be huge. But that's not happening. They're not 70% of the population. They're between 0.4 and 4% of the population. And so Bitcoin people were going crazy. Oh, they're going to withdraw all their money from the bank. And who knows if any of them are going to really withdraw all of their money from the banks. And so they're like, this is so great news for Bitcoin. Obviously, they'll buy Bitcoin if they withdraw their money from the banks. Guys, we're getting carried away with this kind of stuff. It looks nice on TV. It ain't so pretty, is it? These people aren't into Bitcoin. This isn't about Bitcoin. Someone had a Bitcoin sign. The numbers aren't as big as you may think. Good luck. My advice to anyone in France is, hey, if you're smart enough to be watching this show right now, just get into Bitcoin. Hold your Bitcoin. Yeah, some people are going to the streets wearing yellow vests. It's died down some. Let them scream and yell and people virtue signal around them. Don't waste your time with it. You take care of yourself. You become self-employed. Personal responsibility is a new counterculture. I don't know if these people have that much personal responsibility. I don't know the full story. I read what 3 different guys told me. You could tell their stories were intertwined there, and they're pretty similar right there. So if you see all this yellow vest and Bitcoin stuff on Twitter, it's not happening. They're not the same thing. They're not the same thing. In our space, we imagine this perfect world where everyone understands the value of money and inflation, and the banks are all corrupt, and thus we're going to go into Bitcoin. It's just not. No, people don't get it. It's not that easy. It's not that easy. Well, in one sense, if you take some time, if you don't get distracted by the media, if you got some long-term thinking and deferral gratification, it is easy. This Bitcoin thing is real money. It's got a capped supply. It's, how much there's going to be. It's awesome. It's uncensorable, unconfiscatable, but most people don't care about those things. And so we get a glamour story like this, and someone held up a Bitcoin sign. So all these Bitcoin people jump on it, and they think this is going to be the saving grace. Again, I tell people about, don't go too crazy about FUD, but don't go too wild about stories like this, which are stories that are clearly blown out of proportion on the Bitcoin level. So thank you very much, my 3 French friends. Maybe we'll have a French guest on Friday that'll talk about this more. Maybe someone's got a different opinion. Leave it in the notes below. But hey, that was a quick, in 24 hours, I got a whole big story out of that request. So, hey, if you want something, you ask for it, people. There's no shame. I said, I need some French people to email me. They email me, bam. All right. So let us move on. MImble Wimble. There's an article by the great Arjun in the Block Crypto. MImble Wimble, history, technology, and the mining industry. Okay, this MImble Wimble protocol supposedly is really makes things totally anonymous. And Grin and Beam are going to use it. They're going to be new cryptocurrencies. This first half of 2019, this is going to be the flavor of the month, the altcoin flavor of the month. And, I had that written down, and my buddy here in the chat, who in the chat before the show said, Grin is flavor of the month or something. Who said that here? I'm looking it up. Roman Q. Dude, you read my freaking mind, dude. Yeah, it's the altcoin flavor of the month. Just be aware that that term, you're going to hear MImble Wimble over and over again. And hey, maybe it is really useful. I don't know. Just like, the stuff that powers Zcash, maybe that's really useful. And, let them experiment. I'm not ragging on it or anything. I'm not threatened by it. I'm just saying you're going to hear a lot of it. And Arjun's got a really complex article about it. You got to have some knowledge to understand this entire article. He does summarize it, so that helped me. This is all this technical. I don't want to hear all this technical information. I am not the technical master. Arjun's got a good article though on the MImble Wimble for you tech heads. And if you're not a tech head, go through it real quick. There are some interesting points if you're not a tech head in it. Whale Panda has a reminder of that Gemini. So I pointed out how Gemini had that ad yesterday. Revolutions need rules, and a lot of people, I found out about it because they email me. They think I am a Gemini member. I've explained this before. I tried to sign up once, and they wanted my power bill, and I said no way. But they still keep on emailing me. So I knew my email right before I got on the air yesterday had this link in it. Well, had this message, and then I looked it up on their blog, and sure enough, there's the picture of this ridiculous sign. And everybody else started talking about it, which is great. We break the stories early here. Pound that like button. You get it here first, baby. You come here, you get stories you get nowhere else, no other place, just like that French story. But here is Whale Panda sums it up real nice. The Gemini ad in the New York Times is just virtue signaling. They're not aiming at onboarding Bitcoiners. They're aiming at institutional investors reading the New York Times. So while I completely disagree with the ad, it actually makes perfect sense for them. That is linked to below. That sums up that ad perfectly. It's not for me. It's not for you. It's to make the institutional investors reading the New York Times feel very comfortable that they're going to get into something that is regulated by the government, that the people like Adam Meister are calling a revolution. But don't worry, it has rules. And we're the Winklevi, and we're enforcing the rules. So you'll be safe with us. That's the truth. So, hey, those people are welcome to come play where the big boys play. If they want the Winklevi to hold their private keys for them, so be it. We can't stop anyone from joining the Bitcoin world. But there's a lot of people who are like, oh, we don't need Wall Street in here, Adam. Why are you always talking about Wall Street? We can't stop them, dude. That's the beauty of Bitcoin. My worst enemies can come in here. Okay. Your worst enemies. And they can't stop us. We can't stop them from holding the Bitcoin. That is the beauty of this. And HODL, which is a quote unquote decentralized exchange, they make fun of the sign in a tweet. Instead of having a sign that says revolutions need rules, they have a sign that says people need Bitcoin. And it looks exactly like that sign. It's linked to below. Pound that like button. Okay, Venshin. Yesterday at the end after my show went off the air, he sent a $5 super chat, which I appreciate because Venshin is awesome. But he had a question, and he wanted me to answer the question today. So I'm going to answer the question. Have you heard about the two-way Lightning app called Satoshi's Wallet that could be a real game changer? Maybe you can mention it next show. Well, I hadn't heard about it yet. Now, so I started to look for it. Now, you called it Satoshi's Wallet. So I Googled Satoshi's Wallet. Dude, you do not want to do that. You don't get this Lightning app, okay? You get all these people wondering where Satoshi's Wallet is, who Satoshi is. People are so obsessed with who Satoshi is. It is such a waste of time. It is such crypto noise. But unfortunately, if you Google, you're trying to find this cool thing that Venshin is talking about, the Satoshi's Wallet Lightning app, and you come up with all this insane mumbo jumbo out there, people worried and obsessed about who Satoshi is, where his wallet is, blah, 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 blah. But I persevered. I continued. And I discovered it. Now, before I describe it, there are lots of Lightning apps coming out. This is awesome stuff. Keep on trying, people. Keep on making them. Will they change the game? Eventually, one will. Will it be this one? I don't know. but it's worth a try. And I give credit to all these people who are in motion. Be in motion, people. Make your Lightning app. Don't complain and worry about who Satoshi is. Make a Lightning app named after Satoshi. So here is the article. It is linked to below. The wallet, it's called the Wallet of Satoshi, by the way. So Vention called it Satoshi's wallet. It's called, but even if I would have Googled the Wallet of Satoshi, the same nonsense would have come up. The Wallet of Satoshi launches as a user-friendly Bitcoin Lightning Network wallet in Australia. Now, remember, we're talking about Australia the other day. Good job for my brothers and sisters down under, because we do know there are a lot of ladies into Bitcoin in Australia. They do watch the show. And the Wallet of Satoshi intends to provide entry-level Bitcoin users with access to Lightning payments. Well, that is a beautiful concept. Intends to provide entry-level Bitcoin users with access to Lightning payments. So that concept, Vention, yeah, that's a game-changing concept. Are they going to be able to implement it? Is it going to be able to catch on? That everyone will be able to use this app for entry-level Bitcoin, for access to the Lightning, easy access to the Lightning Network. Ooh, Lightning payments on the Lightning Network. We shall see. They said it's like grandma easy. It said in the article. So read the article if you want to know more. Vention, thank you for telling me about this. I wish them luck. Yeah, it could change the game, baby. So finally, the great Craig Ship is tweeting this out. He sent this information to me, and this is awesome. You know, we talked to the show has come full circle. We talked at the beginning of the show about Dave Rubin trying to, make his own Patreon. And I have said again and again that he should just list the Bitcoin address. Well, here we go. And he is a content creator. Well, Craig Ship out in an undisclosed location in Western Maryland in Frederick County, near Camp David, he knows a young lady named Sarah, the host of cowgirlslive.com. Yes, cowgirlslive.com. I've never heard of it. Of course I haven't heard of it. I'm not in the Cowgirls Live. But he tells me the cowgirlslive.com show is accepting Bitcoin donations to support Sarah's live show and her barrel racing. So I looked up what barrel racing is. I didn't even know what that was. These ladies on horses riding all around a rodeo track, and they got to do a clover leaf or something. Hey, man. I'm not from Frederick. And some people think Frederick is like a suburb of DC. It wasn't originally. Clearly, I mean, it was Western Maryland, and it still is. And Sarah seems like a nice person. I'm bringing this up is because she has this simple, basic layout on her page, nothing complicated. Anyone could do it. It looks clean, it looks clear, and it shows Bitcoin. Donate Bitcoin to her. Anyone can do that. That's the simple answer. That this 18-year-old girl, she can do this. Everyone can do this. Everyone will do this eventually. And to try to complicate matters and make your own Patreon, I would just recommend to Dave Rubin, to Jordan Peterson, look at Sarah's page. Just do with this. And again, Craig Ship, I know she's a friend of yours and everything. You did some of the videos. I think you did a lot of the videos. But hey, man, you've shown us an example of this is how simple it can be. This is how easy it can be. Don't try to reinvent a broken wheel. Try something simple like this. And hey, maybe you'll get mentioned on the show, maybe, and people will start donating to you. Every little niche content creator out there, they can have she rides horses. Someone who likes aquariums could do the same thing. No one can stop you from listing that Bitcoin address on your page. You don't have to make it too complex. You can check out her page. You can send her Bitcoin and everything. And it's a smooth, simple format, simple layout. That's what Bitcoin allows you to do. You don't have to have flashy bells and if you want it, you can have flashy bells and whistles, I guess, but list that Bitcoin address. Eventually, everyone all content creators everywhere will just list their Bitcoin address. And if you like them, you'll send it with your Lightning Network app or whatever. Who knows? I can't predict the future. I'm not a prophet. I'm just Adam Meister, the Bitcoin Meister, Disrupt Meister. Remember to subscribe to this channel, like this video, share this video. Check out the link section below. Bang that bell button. Pound that like button. Click on those squares. And check me out on Twitter at TechBalt, TechBalt. I'll say hi to you guys in the chat right now. Bye-bye.